In the criminal justice system, the people,
Pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care.
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law, you're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
From the That Didn't Take Long department, I have this story for you. The Florida man freed by Trump on the January 6th charges. He, one of all of those people who got that pardon, he gets arrested one day later. He was indicted for assaulting police officers and setting off an explosive device during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Had his case dismissed after President Trump issued this sweeping pardon for the rioters. But then Daniel Charles Ball, who you see here, age 39, gets arrested one day later. He was hit with a slew of federal felony charges, all of which were wiped away. Assaulting, resisting, impeding certain officers with a deadly or dangerous weapon, using fire and explosive to commit a felony, obstruction of law enforcement during a civil disorder. I can go on and on and on, carrying or using a deadly or dangerous weapon. This guy's a bad hombre,
Yeah.
to use the phrase. And he was pardoned. But he was arrested a day later on a gun charge. He, of course, is at his home in Florida, and there in Citrus County, where probably feels as though nothing bad could happen, he was arrested. Meantime, someone else who was offered the presidential pardon, Pamela Hempill, she served 2 months in prison for her involvement in the Capitol siege over the 2020 election. What did she do? She said, "I don't want your pardon, Mr. President."
What?
She said, "I broke the law. I know I broke the law. I pleaded guilty," she said, "because I was guilty. And we know all of them were guilty," she said. She lives in Idaho, and she is rejecting her pardon from Donald Trump. She says, "I'm not going to be part of them trying to rewrite history." That's her in an interview. "I'm not going to be part of them trying to rewrite history." Pam Hempill. Quite impressive. And then, as Kim says, the Oathkeeper who goes back to the Capitol, Stuart Rhodes. He goes to the Capitol to meet with GOP lawmakers. To apologize? Not so much. He was spotted in the Dunkin' Donuts inside the Longworth House office building. And that's the part of the complex that's accessible to the public. And he says that he was advocating for the release of Jeremy Brown, who's another Oath Keeper, who's in prison on federal weapons charges stemming from an investigation into his alleged involvement in the riot. We will have to see. But as Kim said, it's just despicable. And the police union that endorsed Trump, you know, back the blue, Trump seemed as though he was like the law and order guy, do what you want, cops, I'm on your side. That pro-Trump police union is saying that these J6 pardons send a dangerous message. The Fraternal Order of Police, they endorsed Donald Trump in the last 3 elections, say they are, quote, deeply discouraged by his recent pardons. In a joint statement with the International Association of Chiefs of Police, they say that these pardons and computations given by Trump to those who've been convicted of killing or assaulting police are deeply disappointing. They don't make an explicit reference to the J6 pardons, but they issued the statement right after the pardons were handed down.
Even the judges are like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I will remind you, lest you need reminding, that these were Trump judges. Many of them were Trump judges who presided over these various charges and then the guilty verdicts that were found in all of these different cases. Trump appointed judges. And then, Albert, finally, I wanted to share the reaction of one police officer who was there at the Capitol to the news of these blanket pardons.
This feels like a betrayal to you.
Oh, I have been betrayed by my country. Rest assured, I have been betrayed by my country, and I've been betrayed by those that supported Donald Trump. Whether you voted for him because he promised these pardons or for some other reason, you knew that this was coming, and here we are. Tonight, 6 individuals who assaulted me as I did my job on January 6th, as did hundreds of other law enforcement officers, will now walk free. 6 individuals who have threatened my life and who have made threats towards my family members, as well as countless other January 6th defendants who have threatened me because they see me as a spokesperson for law enforcement for this event. My family, my children, and myself are less safe today because of Donald Trump and his supporters.
When you
Yeah, that's Michael Fanone. Fanone has taken it hard. I mean, he took a taser to his neck repeatedly, and he was just one of the many officers there who were doing their job, back the blue.
And since then, his family's been put at risk. The threats have rolled in, and these people just got pardons, and they just got access to weapons because some of their felonies have been stripped. So now these violent people can own guns again. These are people, in my mind, who should be stripped of their citizenship for what they did to America, and their citizenship given to migrants who are here and actually want to be part of a democracy. And then they should be set in raggedy old boats with no paddles and directed to, there's an island out there, go try to find it. You're not wanted here anymore. Like, that's how serious and angry I feel about the attack on America. And now they're pardoned and they're welcomed back in our nation's capital.
Well, it's part of a rewriting.
Outrageous.
It's
I'm
part
outraged.
of a rewriting of J6. I mean, I'm not going to comment on. I mean, I get it. You're angry as you should be, and I think you're right to be angry. I'm not going to speak to the specifics of what you said because people come to this country for a lot of different reasons, not just because they embrace democracy. But I mean, I also feel as though you're right in pointing out the fact that these people tried to derail democracy, and they were part of an all-out, I should say, coup attempt on the part of the president. And there's no question about it. I mean, it took on the violence as the last step in an attempt that had been underway for some time, as Trump had a fake elector scheme that he hatched. He was taking over the Justice Department with his guy who he wanted him just to announce that there's some irregularities with the election. Remember, he said, there doesn't have to be any irregularities. I just need you to announce that there's some questions that we need to investigate. I need the big cloud of doubt over the election. That was essentially what was going on. There'd been talk of martial law. They, of course, went to all of those court cases, et cetera. So the violent J6 crush in Congress, that was the culmination of an ongoing coup attempt. So now he pardons all of these coosters, and they are out there, an armed militia. These are his brown shirts. These militias that are armed, and by the way, can purchase weapons, can have weapons. They wouldn't have that if there was an active felony, but now their record's been purged by the president. They are his enforcers. They intimidate legislators, they intimidate media people, and they intimidate other Americans who disagree. It's a very dangerous time in America, largely as a result of the lawlessness that seems to be wrought by many of these decisions that Trump is making. That's Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.